Hi everyone, my name is Karlene and this is my story. I have been in Ottawa since September of 2020. Yes, in the midst of it all. We prayed and asked God to provide us a church that we can call home. We found Bethel and the rest is history. At the moment, I am part of the prayer team and I'm also part of the outreach programs. It is such a blessing. I am learning things about myself that I did not even know, and also the connection with the Holy Spirit is very, very powerful. I was raised as a Christian, in a Christian home, as a Christian child. I always tell everyone I was raised as an Amish. Hair had to be covered, no makeup, no jewelry, no wearing pants. But the thing that really bothered me was a woman was supposed to be seen and not heard. I did realize not too long after that that I had a voice that God was calling me to use to empower others. But first, I had to empower myself. That was a very long journey. I was born in the warm, beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. My family was very poor, and that had basically struck a core for me from very, very young. I decided to follow Jesus. As a child, I firmly believed that God would protect me more than anything else because I was brought up in a very scary country at times. Things could get really scary and dramatic. At a very young age, something really traumatizing happened. Someone that was supposed to protect me abused me. So as a child, I've seen things that I should not have seen as a child, and I believed that God would protect me. So I decided I wanted to follow Jesus, and I got baptized at the young and tender age of 12. I was blessed with 3 boys and one very, very special, Rose. Her name is Chloe. She's part of Bethel worship team as well. And she's my life. She's taught me a lot as a mother and as a woman. I had a major life event in 2018. At that time, I was raising my very last son as a single mother, and he became a teenager. We all know. For a few months, we couldn't find him. He left home one day. He was a football star, and he thought he was invincible and the hottest thing since sliced bread. And he disappeared. Chloe was young at that time as well. Myself and Chloe would go everywhere we could think of. All hours of the night, I had that child looking in gutters, in bridges, under bridges, everywhere you can think of, and I couldn't find him. I think I neglected Chloe, and she wanted to know God. So at that time, I had to pause and reconnect. Now, I had fully thought that God has neglected me after I was abused. So I used to call myself spiritual, but not Christian because of what was done to me by a Christian. So Chloe wanted to know who God was, and I was fully going the other way. However, we got invited to a church, and I had no choice but to take her. When I took her, I had a really, really bad pain on my right side. We arrived at the church, and once we got in, Chloe decided, oh my God, I love it here. So we went in, and right away, moments upon arriving at the church, the pastor in the church was preaching, and he said, there's someone in this room with a pain on their right side. Chloe started nudging, and I said, leave me alone. And then he came to me, and he said, you have a pain on your right side. Would you allow my wife to touch you? I was healed instantaneously. The word of the day was pertaining to God was with us in every step of the way. On that day, I realized God was with Connor, God was with myself, and God was with Chloe. So I decided I am going to renew my vow because I needed to allow God to be in control. One day, I was in a prayer meeting, and the pain of not knowing where Connor was constantly stirring up. So I had to learn how to surrender. So on that day, I asked God to give me the grace that I needed to surrender and allow Him to do what He needs to do. And after that prayer meeting, I got a phone call that someone knew where Connor was. And a few days later, Connor came home. As a church family, I would like you guys to know, no matter what season you're in, you could be running from something, you could be running to something, you could be stuck up in the middle of something. Just know, you are never alone. God is right down in there with you. He is walking with you. He is talking with you. But the main thing you have to do, you have to use your words. You got to ask. You got to trust. And you got to have faith. Just believing. If He can raise the dead, He can also take care of your problem, your situation, and you. You are gorgeous. You are incredible. You are valuable. You are more than enough. And you are loved. My name is Karlene, and this is my story.